Hello and welcome. This is Wellbeing Conversations with Aisha, and I'm so glad that you are here to join me for this very important conversation. Today, I wanted to talk about something that, in the work that I do, that I've been doing for many years, that I see very commonly in almost all of us. And I feel like it's such an important time now with all the energetic shift that is going on, that it's more important for us to move through this now. It really is time. And so, this is something that is very human. It's something almost all of us carry, often without even realizing it. It's the way our bodies learned to survive. Our bodies over time have learned to survive living in this reality, but it also remembers how to heal. And so let's sort of unpack this a little bit. See, most of us, we weren't really taught how to be with our emotions, right? From the time we were kids, we weren't shown how to feel anger in a safe way, or how to move through grief and let go, or how to maybe sit with fear, instead of shutting it down. Most of us didn't learn how to be with what we feel, right? We learned how to cope, we learned how to push through, how to keep going. We learned all of that, but we didn't learn how to really cope and deal with our emotions. And it because for a lot of us, we looked at how our parents and society dealt with things, and we were told certain things like, when we were younger, if we had emotions, if we're upset, it's like we're told, you got to stop crying, or this will happen, or as a man, you were told, you're a man, you're not meant to cry, you're not meant to feel emotion. And so we learn through all of these things as we're growing up. And those adaptations, they didn't just live in the mind, they lived in the body. So survival mode, the survival instinct that takes over us in these situations, it's not just a mindset thing, it's a physiological thing. The shoulders will tighten, there'll be shallow breathing, the jaws may clench, the belly may get frozen in a way. And these aren't flaws. These are actually intelligent responses by the body. So when I talk about survival mode, I want to be very clear. This isn't a weakness. It's an intelligence. It's the body doing exactly what it needed to do at that time. The tension, the holding, the shallow breathing, the numbness, they're not mistakes. These are strategies by the body. The body learned what the mind couldn't yet process. See, so this is how amazing we are as human beings, because we will compensate and we will do things so that the human can survive in this reality, right? And in this modern world that we're living in, we have to experience so many different things as souls. This is why we came, to have this human experience, and it can be quite a tough experience. So we have all of these traumas and these things that happen to us, and it's stored within our physical body. And then we have these symptoms that I've just spoken about, but they're not the enemy. They are messages from the body. The body's saying there's something here that needs listening. See, the body keeps the score. It's not to punish us, but it's because it remembers what the mind couldn't safely process at that time, because it's protective. So these stored emotions, the trauma, the unexpressed experiences, they become patterns, and we begin responding to life through these old lenses. But awareness, that changes everything. You see, the beautiful thing is this: the moment we become aware, the body begins to reorganize itself. So the same body that learned survival is the body that knows the way home. So I'll say that again, the body that learns survival, that's the body that knows the way home. So in this modern world, when we experience all the different experiences that we do, whether it's in our relationships, whether it's stress at work, whether it's physical ailments, whatever that may be, we've gotten so used to going into this fight and flight mode, into the survival mode. And all of these things happen within our bodies, and I've spoken about this numerous times in, other episodes and things about stress and what happens physically to the body during stress and the hormonal changes. And when this is ongoing and repetitive, this has a negative effect on the physical body. But this also affects us mentally, it affects us emotionally. And so when these symptoms come up for us, whether it's the various symptoms I spoke about, the tension, the clenched jaws, the holding, the even the emotions that come up for us, these are there as our guidance system to show us, hey, I'm talking to you, this needs to be looked at. You need to be still and listen so that we can move forward and we can heal. Because what we must understand is we're going to respond to life through this lens, through all of our experiences and belief systems and the way our body has stored these experiences and these emotions. We are going to respond to life in that way. And so that not only affects the way we feel, but it affects exactly all the things that is going on in our lives. And then to break that down even further, we know that everything is energy. So everything is energy. And when we talk about energy, we're talking about frequency and vibration. So when we're emitting a certain type of frequency or vibration, the universe around us is responding to that. So this is why you would hear repeatedly, the only way to change your reality, if there's things you don't like in your world, if there's things you don't like within your physical body, if there's things you don't like, the way to change it is by going within, is to do the internal work. Because that's the most powerful way you can shift things on an energetic level so that you can shift things in your life. So when we're talking about the physical body storing these memories, storing these emotions and unprocessed emotions and things like this, the most powerful way we can shift this is through the energetics. And I want to talk about that because this is the work that I've been doing for so many years. Yes, I've done working with the physical body through nursing or through nutrition and my works with GAPS, which is all amazing. But I find that the most powerful way to shift things is through energetic practices. This is why I do these podcasts. This is why I do these mini meditations, because they create changes not only in my life and the people around me, but in so many people, because I hear from you about how this changes and shifts things within yourself. And I see it, when I hold gatherings for meditations, like we've just done a full moon Qigong and meditation event journey that was absolutely beautiful, but it shifts something in you because you shift you shift your frequency. Because you start bringing awareness to something else and you're making that choice to go within, you start to shift your frequency. So when we're talking about the energy of the body, I want to just simplify it a little bit and talk about our main energy centers. So we've got a lot of energy centers within the body. So whether you want to call them vortexes or chakras or energy centers, whatever you want to call them, we have them all over the body. But the main energy centers that we sort of know about, and I work with a lot as well with my bowls, and the way I was taught sound healing, from my teacher, from the traditional form of sound healing. We're working with the main energy centers here. And when I experience the energy centers in the work that I do, I don't see them as separate compartments. I experience them as these sort of interwoven vortexes constantly communicating with each other. we sort of speak about them individually so that the human mind can understand it, so that we can talk about it and break it down and understand it. But in the body, they are so entangled and working together. So, for the purpose of our conversation today, and if you want to go a bit more deeper, you can go to my meditations. You'll see them on my podcast about the chakra system. And so, there's a part 1, 2, and 3, and where you could do some energy work on the system specifically. So, go and enjoy that one. It's really powerful. So, when we're talking about the energy centers, say, so let's talk about the lower energy centers, the lower chakras, because we're talking about the survival mode and learning how to through consistency and through inner work to shift out of this pattern so we can experience a different reality within our world, individually and then collectively. So the lower energy centers are more about safety, just what I'm talking about, that feeling of safety. And it's also connected to our ancestry and our purpose, right? So, for example, if we were talking about Muladhara, which is the lowest energy center, so that's the root, that's the base energy center, and that has to do, that's your foundation, how you feel, your connection to this planet, to where you are, your sense of belonging, that feeling of safety, and just being here on this earth. Do you feel safe to exist on this earth? That all has to do with your lower the base, the root chakra. Sometimes if I have somebody that comes to me for a healing session, and let's say I'm playing the bowl for Muladhara, sometimes for me, if there has been some recent trauma or something like that, I will feel that as I'm playing the bowl, I would get that sensation, because as I'm playing the bowls, I could read or intuit what's happening within the body, and you can feel almost like that rug has been pulled out from under them, that sort of shock type of feeling, and you can see that and feel that and hear that as I'm playing the bowls. All of us, we all, everything's energy, so we carry all of these things within our energy field, and all of us can read the energy field. It's just because we've been so inundated with living in this world and trying to survive and all of that, that we don't focus on using our intuitive skills, or even not necessarily using it, but trusting what we're intuiting. And that takes practice and consistency, really. But yeah, so that's the base chakra, and then we come to Svadhisthana. So that's the sacral, and that's got to do with our ancestry, our family lineage, whether there's ancestral karma. It's connected to our emotional memory and creativity, also trauma and generational patterns, things like this. So that's the sacral, and then we come to Manipur, or the solar plexus. And that's got to do with your purpose in this world. Do you feel worthy? What your gifts are that you've come into this world with, do you feel worthy of presenting them to the world? And you can see how your two lower chakras can impact this part of yourself, your purpose, and you fulfilling your purpose. The big question of why I'm here, and do I deserve to take the space? That's the solar plexus chakra. And I know I've said it before, but they are all so connected. So, as an example, let's see if I have a client. Oh yeah, this is a good example. I had a client that had come in, and usually if I see somebody for the first time, I ask them not to tell me anything about themselves or what's going on, because I don't really want my mind to get involved. I don't want to be in there thinking, oh, I'd really love this to happen and to help with this. I like to get out of my mind and to allow whatever needs to happen to come through. And so in that way, I'm able to play the bowls, and the body will listen to the sound and adjust according to the sound what it needs to do. And that's how the healing is sort of instigated within the body, within the field. And so then I can read a lot of what's happening in the body, and that gives me a better understanding. And obviously the person's team comes through, so that helps me a lot more too. But I was playing the bowls, and I could feel that as I was playing Muladhara and then Svadhisthana, I started getting this feeling of this sort of like stuck energy. It was like it was playing really slow, and sometimes for me I could see different things. Like sometimes it feels like a block, or sometimes it could feel like an attachment. It's different, and then the sound will also guide me. And as I was playing it, was sort of like this attachment that was happening there, and it just felt. And as I was playing it more, it felt like an emotional attachment, and as I'm playing it, I could feel it was connected to the heart and the throat, and this feeling of betrayal came up. And it felt like the heart was guarding and the throat felt stuck, and this was all by me playing the lower chakra. And so afterwards, when I talked with the client, she was explaining to me, yes, she's been to an event a few days ago, and this a woman who she knew told her something, and they were talking, and it really affected her, and she went home and she was really upset, and she's still holding on to it, and it was really affecting her. Like, she was very angry about it and all of these sort of things. And when we broke it down, she realized it was bringing up feelings of a betrayal that had happened to her in the past. And obviously now this is how we know that, okay, it wasn't completely resolved. There was something she needed to look at and let go of so that she could heal the heart, but also her acknowledging it and expressing it, now that can help clear the throat chakra a bit. And but this was even more interesting, is as we spoke a bit more, the lady that was explaining her these things had also experienced betrayal in her life. So can you see how energetically we attract the same things that's on that vibration? So you're only going to attract something that you're holding some sort of frequency to, right? And you can see very simply how that happened. So in one sense, we can look at it as this lady that really upset her was actually an angel in a way, in disguise, coming to her, giving her the experience where it brought up all this we call negative emotion in her. But this was a doorway for her to, it was almost like that lady came, knocked on the door within her that said, I'm still here. This emotion is still here. I haven't resolved it yet. And so this was her time for her to go, okay, what am I still holding on to? How can I fully heal this and let that experience go from way before, when she was betrayed by somebody? And actually, it had nothing to do with this lady that just brought this emotions up for her. So this is why it's so interesting as well. When we have experiences in our lives, sometimes our loved ones or somebody we know, or somebody we don't even know sometimes, could bring up really strong emotions in us. And it's so important not to give it a story. It's so important to sit back and be the observer of your experience instead of judging the situation. Because when we do that, we give ourselves time to actually sit and listen to our body. And all our body wants is to be heard. It just wants you to to listen and to hold loving space for it. No matter what the emotion that comes up, all it wants is to say, I'm still here. And it's for you to say, it's okay. I love you. I'm going to hold this loving space for you. You can be here. Betrayal, you can be here. Anger, you can be here. Whatever it is, I'm going to hold you. It's okay. And once you hold space for your emotions, that can be one of the most amazing breakthroughs in your life, because what starts happening is you'll realize you'll peel through layers of emotion. It may bring up other emotions in you. You may move from betrayal to anger. You may move to feelings of revenge. You may then, and if you really sit with it without judgment, really give it time and space and honor it, and what you'll find is you'll peel through more layers, and then you may feel sadness. You may start crying, and you may give yourself that time. And then after a bit, what happens almost always is you'll reach a space where there's just stillness. It would either be, it's different for different people. Some people just experience a stillness. Sometimes you'll experience this euphoria. Sometimes you'll experience this bliss. Sometimes you'll experience this absolute peace. So it's really important that we don't judge these emotions that come up, because what's on the other side of it is magnificent. And if we can really sit and be with it, there's so many lessons for us in these emotions that our body is guiding us to, that you get to the point where when emotions come up, you're like, good, what's here? What's here to heal? And it's important too, when you're doing this inner work, to give yourself that space to know that, okay, I'm going to sit with my emotions now. I need some quiet time to go to a space where you know you're not going to be disturbed. That's part of honoring yourself and your experience. where you can give yourself that time. You can let people know, or you can do it. If you've got kids, you can wait till they're asleep and then you can do your work then, or, find that time to take this time out for yourself, because it literally changes everything in your life over time. So as you can see from all that I've talking about, the heart is not really separate from survival. So as you can see, these lower energy centers that's connected to this survival mode, the heart is almost like, how can I put it, like that bridge between spirit and earth. And so this is why we like to sit in the heart, because when we can sit in the heart space, we get that connection to our higher self, the connection to God or source, or whatever your belief system is, your connection to God. That's through your higher self, because you're a spark of God. And so that heart, your heart is that space. When the lower centers feel unsafe, the heart contracts, right? And in the sound work that I do, the lower bowls will speak, and the heart always knows how to respond. So this is why I love sound healing, because I feel like it's so powerful. I always notice that when something is held in the lower energy centers, the heart will always respond. So therefore, the heart's not separate from survival. It is that bridge between earth and spirit. And we don't even need sound. I love sound because I feel it's so powerful. It works. It's amazing, obviously, because I play the bowls. I'm biased. But when you go within and you start doing the inner work and you start doing the healing, it can be just as powerful. I just find that if we're given tools to help us on our journey, why not use them? Healing doesn't require force. It requires safety. When the body feels listened to, whether it's through breath, through sound, through movement. Movement is also a great way to move energy in the body. There's somatic therapy, there's all different things that you can do to actually move, dance. A lot of people find that when they go on walks or on runs or go cycling, that's sort of their spiritual work, that movement. Great, if that works for you. Stillness is also really powerful. Nature, being in nature changes everything, because you naturally begin to soften. So I suppose the message behind our talk today, and I could go on forever with this, but I've got to be conscious of time, is that your body is not broken. It's been protecting you. And when we can slow down enough to listen, it remembers exactly how to guide us home. And this is why I really want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this today, because your body will thank you. And as you notice, what I'm talking about is nothing new. Do you feel the energy that you're remembering this? I'm not telling you anything new. Your body remembers. Your body keeps score of what happens. Your body remembers. Your body remembers how to heal. I'm just here reminding you of it. So after this talk, I'm going to record a beautiful little meditation following what we talked about today. So I'm hoping that you can take some time to sit and really absorb the beautiful sounds in the meditation. And I'm feeling guided to do a real sort of working on the energy centers of the body, especially the lower energy centers, to bring about that feeling of safety. Because when we have that feeling of safety, then what follows is that feeling that everything is okay. That's when the clarity comes and the healing comes. So I hope you enjoyed the talk today. If you have any feedback or any questions or anything that you'd like me to talk about in a bit more detail, you're quite welcome to send me a text or contact me via my social media or my website, the I Am Wellness Center. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you have a beautiful day or evening. Thank you for listening. Bye.